Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 4 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we decide the Final Four here at Phoenix International Raceway. There you see today's headlines. Gary Owen heads into Phoenix on the bubble. He'll need a great race to keep himself in that Final Four. We are the last driver in right now. Denny Hamlin, anything short of a championship this season would be a disappointment for him. Kyle Busch looks strong and should make the Final Four, and it's also shaping up right now to be a JGR versus SHR kind of duel in that Final Four race at Homestead, Miami. But we come through into the Truck Series here, where we had driver Greg Biffle back in the car. Like I said, he's kind of the driver we went with for our playoffs this season. Obviously, we're no longer in the Truck Series playoffs, and I didn't show a whole lot of kind of how the playoff thing was shaping out, but obviously, like next season, I'm going to change that up and try to go way more in-depth in a lot of stuff now, as Greg Biffle, though, would cross the line later in this race to finish P13, so it was a decent finish for Greg, and obviously he'll get one more race still in this truck in the next race at Homestead, Miami. But now we come through into the Xfinity Series, where we had subscriber Joe Quinn Stewart in the cars. He went down into turns 1 of the inside of the 51 of Clements there as he got cleared by him, as he had the 39 of Ryan Sieg on his back bumper at this point. But Joe Quinn has struggled a little bit in this race, as our team usually does at this racetrack. He actually got sent up the inside by drivers like Ray Black Jr., Jeremy Clements, and he would kind of fade as this race went on. And then on the final lap, the same thing happened. He got nailed in the left side through turns 3 and out of turns 4. So Joe Quinn comes through to cross the line just behind the 42 car to finish in P20 here in Phoenix, with Christopher Bell winning the race. So now we come through in the Cup Series qualifying out of turns 4, knowing we need to have a good result today to make it in. We come through to cross the line with a 26-0 and go P11. So not too bad here in Phoenix Raceway. So I'm confident in what we can do. And now we're going to see who's on the pole there, and it is Matt DiBenedetto on the pole here for the penultimate race of the season.
We're live at ISM Raceway. We've reached the penultimate event of this thrilling season. After today, the Championship 4 will be set. Who will be heading to Homestead with a shot at a championship? It's time to find out.
All right, thank you, Rick Allen. We're ready to go green here at Phoenix Raceway. We come into this race in a good position, about 10 points or so to the good above that cut line to make this Final Four, as Ryan Blaney failed optical scanning station multiple times, so he's starting at the back along with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who failed pre-race inspection. As there you see your pole winner, Matt DiBenedetto, who might go for the first season in our career mode without a victory. In our rookie season, he won, I think it was Sonoma, and then last season he won the Roval. But now here he is starting on pole now as the green flag is out, and we are underway right now. We are in position to make that Final Four. The drivers that we have to watch out for, at least in the point situation, is Chase Elliott, who is right there on my right-hand side right now, as we go down into turns 1, and up ahead, the 22 of Joey Logano. I kept track of points all race, so after each stage, I'm going to just kind of let you guys know what the point situation looks like as we go into that next stage. Now, as we go down into turn 3 up the inside of Alex Bowman. But as of right now, we are in that Final Four, and if Joey Logano or Chase Elliott wins, we're going to have to find a way to point Kevin Harvick, who is really good at this racetrack. So obviously, basically, we're hoping that that doesn't happen and we don't have to worry about someone winning their way in, which has kind of happened to us in our first couple of seasons in the career mode, where we've just kind of gotten screwed over by other drivers winning their way in to that Final Four. And obviously today, it looks like it might turn out a little bit different. Now, as you can see, the 9 doesn't quite have the speed. The 1 car of Kurt Busch that we're passing right now, still in the playoffs as well. He will likely have to win. Eric Almirola likely has to win as well, who is also still in this round of 8. Now, as we came through on lap 10, we were running P8 still by lap 10, but then we finally get up the inside of Joey Logano, one of our contenders, as we went down into turns 3, so we would pass Joey Logano. Now we were ahead of both drivers that we need to be beating here in stage 1, so I was very confident that we might have a really good car here today, first of all, and that we might be able to make the playoffs for the Final Four. So we come through now on lap 11, up through turns 3 and turns 4, decided to move up the track, and it actually worked out. We passed Paul Menard doing that maneuver here with just a little bit over 6 or so laps to go in the stage. Matt DiBenedetto, he was starting to fade at this point, so I go even higher in turns 1 and 2, and we would be able to pass the 95 car as well. So now we were up inside the top 5 at this point. So very happy with what was happening right now at this point. Martin Truex Jr. was leading the way here on lap 15 of 18 in stage 1. He is surprisingly still winless on the season. We had Kevin Harvick starting to climb up into the picture. Denny Hamlin up there in P3. Hamlin has just dominated everything in the playoffs. It's been myself and Hamlin winning quite a bit in the playoffs, actually, but we kind of continued behind Keselowski. Now it's came through with 2 to go, approaching the final lap already of stage 1. And all that matters is right now we are ahead of both Joey Logano and Chase Elliott. So we're doing everything that we need to be doing here to make it into this Final Four now as we come through turns 1 and turns 2, using that higher lane to close in on Keselowski as we exit turn 2, but we're sideways and we're going to correct into the outside wall there as we do a little bit of damage to the right side of the car. Thankfully, we get a big break, and it's not very severe damage, but now we're side by side with Alex Bowman as we exit turn 4. He's going to get us coming to the line. Truex wins stage 1 as we give up 1 point there to finish P6 in the first stage. Elliott in 8th, but we got really lucky there to not really damage the car, so we get a break. Like I said, Elliott P8, Logano not even in stage points. So after stage 1, we are 12 points to the good over Chase Elliott, and then Joey Logano is 18 points out. Harvick is actually 20 points to the good, 27 points to the good for Kyle Busch, and then I can mention Kurt Busch is 34 points out. Eric Almirola, he's far out enough to where no matter what, he's going to have to win. So we get underway for the second stage here in Phoenix, now knowing at this point that we had a 12-point buffer. My confidence was certainly starting to rise at this point. Elliott was still right here in the picture though, so it wasn't like it was going to be a breeze now, as we know that he or Logano could still come in and click off a win possibly. But we go side by side down into turn 3 with Kevin Harvick now. As I should mention, I actually lost like the last couple laps of footage of this second stage, but I did actually capture still the replay angle. I think something just really weird happened. So basically I lost like 30 seconds of footage or so, so I'm going to make up for it. We're showing the finish still of the stage with the replay angles. Thankfully now as we come through out of turns 2 side by side with Keselowski. So running up in the top 5, definitely happy with what we got right now in this car. And as many of you know, I do run a custom setup at Phoenix because of just how tough it is. And I ran pretty much the same thing as I did last time earlier this season where we got a first career pole, but I tightened up the car more because it was just really loose, if I remember from my memory, last time we came to Phoenix. But I was running around P6 at this point now on lap 4 as Kevin Harvick was actually able to get past me. Bowen kind of gets slowed up by the 14 of Clint Boyer as we go down into turns 3, and I would obviously hop on the opportunity to kind of get to this bottom lane. I knew we had potential up in that higher lane, but I continued to work on the inside trying to pass the Hendrick driver of Alex Bowman, who had a great start to the season, was looking promising coming into the playoffs, but didn't show much there as I was actually struggling quite bad to pass 88 of Bowman. He would end up working his way past Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick, so now we were once again battling with our Stewart-Haas Racing teammates of Boyer and Harvick. Boyer's had a very solid season, to be honest. He just missed the playoffs, gave up a win in Bristol where he would have won his way into the playoffs, and here he is up inside the top 5 here today, running a playoff paint scheme when he's not in the playoffs now. As we go down into turns, he actually made a little bit of contact there, but we kept it straight, thankfully. Then Bowman once again would fall down the order, and all of a sudden I was right back up there with him using this outside lane, and we'd actually carry the momentum to get side by side with him going down into turns 3, and I tried to get clear of him, but it just wasn't happening at this point as Martin Truex Jr. continues to lead the way over second place of Denny Hamlin. So it's JGR 1, 2, SHR 3, 4, and 6, and then we got a Hendrick car here in 5th. Now as we go down into turns 1, trying to pass Bowman with that outside lane, but it just wasn't working. Now as we came through out of turns 2, losing the momentum, he would get clear, and then that's where I lost the footage. So we came straight to the final lap of the stage, still right behind Bowman actually, as we made a move going into turn 3. We're going to be 3 wide almost on the exit of the corner, still couldn't quite pass Bowman, so we crossed the line to finish P6. So we would go right into the third and final stage where I took 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and now we're going to get the final points update of the day going into this third and final stage. Now as we are underway, keep in mind Denny Hamlin has taken the lead on the pit lane, Truex in second, but right now we come into this final stage, Kevin Harvick 27 points to the good, so Harvick in great position. Kyle Busch has actually fallen, like I said, behind Kevin Harvick, so he's 24 points to the good. We are 17 points to the good in this third and final stage. Elliott 17 out. Logano 23 out as Bowman actually gets into the back of us into turn 3. He's sideways, he hangs onto it now as we keep things straight. Thankfully, Kurt Busch and Eric Almirola, though I must mention, they have to win this race if they want to make it to the Final Four. Logano realistically will have to win as well. But Chase Elliott 17 points out, there's still a slim chance for him. But if we just finish ahead of them both and make it easy on ourselves, we will be, for the first time in our Cup Series career, in the Final Four, attempting to win a championship in the next episode at Homestead, Miami now, as we ride just behind Truex, who's dominated the first 2 stages, and now he finds himself behind. But we came to on lap 48, and we had actually lost connection to the drivers up ahead as we went down this back straightaway now with about 31 laps to go here as we go down into turn 3, but no one behind us putting any pressure on, but then the caution comes out here with 31 laps to go. No one coming to the pit lane. I thought about maybe pitting. We might have been able to make it on fuel, but I decided against it simply because I didn't want to risk doing anything different at this point and maybe give up the playoffs for us in total and miss that final 4. So I didn't want to risk that, so we get ready to go green now here. Once again, the green flag is back out. Denny Hamlin on the front row with Clint Bowyer. I mentioned Clint Bowyer having a very solid race today, and here he continues to show his speed now as we go down into turns 1. Martin Truex Jr. on that outside. I kind of want to see him actually get to victory lane before the season is over. I never really expected Martin Truex Jr. to have a winless season in a career mode, but here he is with the penultimate race this is actually as we go down into turn 3, and he still hasn't won. So as we went down into turns 1 though, actually sent it in a little bit deeper and then got a really good exit. We passed Truex now for the 4th position here now with just over 25 laps to go or so at this point. Denny Hamlin continues to lead as it was now 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, all Stewart-Haas racing cars as we came through to cross the line, but we continued moving on, and I knew we were thinking about maybe green flag pit stops at this point as the laps were starting to wind on. You can see my right rear tire was down to 34%, 12 laps of fuel or so in the car, so definitely getting within range where I had to consider getting ready to make a green flag pit stop now as we came through now on lap 61, continuing to not really have any pressure going against myself as Truex was quite a ways behind, but the tire icon had now come on, and I had actually went into more of a tire saving mode. I wanted to push my pit stop as late as possible because I was concerned that if I come in earlier than anyone else, the caution's going to come out and our chances of making the final 4 get completely wiped. But we come through now on lap 65. My right rear was at 4%, so obviously with 14 laps to go, now down to 3%, I know I have to come in to make the pit stop a little bit early here against the AI as we go down into turns 1, which could be an advantage if it stays green as we come through. Getting down to the pit speed, there was no issues at all. I actually did not speed this time, so it was a pretty straightforward call. 2 tires was all I was going to do on this one. 1 can of fuel as well would be the call, so no repairs were necessary, but I think I did end up going with repairs, but it didn't add anything. So we come through into our pit box for 2 tires. It was an estimated 8.1 second pit stop. We come through in the exact 8.1 seconds. So now we're at that point in the race where I know things are about to really get real because our championship chances could be on the line right here. If a caution comes out, we're going to get completely messed over. And so I was just hoping it stays green. Now just trying to be really cautious, not make a mistake myself. As you did notice, the AI started to ghost now, but we came through on lap 69. Nice, I should mention, as the AI were starting to pit. We come through on lap 70. Everyone making their pit stops up ahead. You see Denny Hamlin and Clint Bowyer, they'd actually come out in front of me. Unfortunately, I was hoping to actually close the gap to them, but I think I lost time. But we would cycle out though in the 5th position with 7 laps to go. David Reagan was leading this race. He pitted under the last caution, and it was looking like all of a sudden David Reagan is going to steal the win away from everybody. Now has come through running P5, but on lap 74, our teammate of Clint Bowyer goes spinning there across the line. The caution comes out with 5 laps to go from our teammate who's had a great run here today in Phoenix. And now this is going to force NASCAR overtime in the penultimate race of the season, on the verge of a Final 4 decision maker now, as we're going to be restarting P4 just behind Denny Hamlin. David Reagan leads the way. We know he's going to be slow, so it's going to be all on us to get a really good turns 1. We may have a chance to win this race considering Hamlin's not on that bottom lane. We might really be able to make a move on him going down into turn 3, so he should clear Reagan pretty easily as I go way wide on purpose, I should mention, now as I get a really good exit, which is exactly what I was going for. We're clear of Reagan sideways on the back straightaway, but we hang on to it, and down into turn 3, we're going to make a move up the inside of Denny Hamlin. We got a great run, and we knew I had to capitalize on it, so I go for it now as we're side by side on the exit of turn 4. Really the 2 dominant cars of the playoffs so far, battling for a win now. As you see, the tire icon is on, but that obviously doesn't matter on the final lap of this race, and never did I expect to be battling for a win in Phoenix, but everything kind of worked out perfectly to put us in this position now, as Hamlin is clearly faster on this final half a lap here in Phoenix, but we're going to do everything we can. As we go down into turn 3, we have the edge over Hamlin, and out of turns 4, we're going to clear him, and we're going to come through to win in Phoenix.
You earned that checker.
Win number 5 on the season, which now breaks our record from last season. We obviously had a career best 4 wins last season, and now we get number 5 at a track I never expected to win at, and we completely lucked into that win. We were going to finish 5th place if the caution didn't come out. We were no way going to catch the cars ahead. They were faster than us. And then obviously Hamlin was faster than me right there on that final restart. But we timed the exit of turn 2 so well, I was able to build up enough of a run where I could lunge at him into turns 3. And thankfully, the inside lane was just able to keep me side by side with Denny for the rest of that final lap and whatnot. And I just, on turns 3 in the final lap, I just decided to send it in there because I had known at that point that as long as I didn't crash the car, we were going to make the final 4. So I decided to go for it, and it paid off. We get the win here at Phoenix Raceway. Like I said, I cannot believe we just won that race. But now we are officially in the final 4 for the first time in our career. So it's going to come down to one race where, honestly, I think Denny Hamlin has the best chances. Then I think it's going to come down to myself and Kyle Busch, and then kind of I think Kevin Harvick's kind of just the one in the back there. Those are the final 4 drivers I should mention. What you see now on your screen: Denny Hamlin, myself, Kevin Harvick, our teammate, and then Denny Hamlin's teammate of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has made the final 4 every season so far of our career mode. But after the race, I did say, unreal, I can't believe we pulled that off. Hopefully we're champions after Miami. It's going to be tough. Hamlin and myself going for championship number 1, Kyle Busch and Harvick going for championship number 2, because Kyle Busch was only a one-time champion when we started this career mode, for people wondering why I say he's a one-time champion.
Yes! Championship 4. Now you got some real work to do.
That's not synced up very well.
Homestead, Championship 4. You got this.
Thank you, William Byron. And then we have some drivers happy with us, so that's always nice when they're not angry with us. Now it's Kyle Busch is happy, Austin Dillon's happy, Chris Buescher and whatnot. Well, maybe Alex Bowman isn't. Still can't believe we just won that race, though. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. In the next one, you know what's going to happen. We're going to go Stuart Haas Racing versus Joe Gibbs Racing for championship at Homestead, Miami. Myself and Harvick versus Hamlin and Kyle Busch. I'd love to hear your guys' picks in the comments section to see who's going to win. I think Hamlin, like I said, has the best chances. I think, though, we can give him a run for his money. There's, you see, 8 wins for Denny Hamlin going into Miami. Kyle Busch had 9 last season. Maybe Hamlin can match that. So we're going to see what happens in our first attempt ever at the Final 4 next episode in Homestead, Miami. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a good day. Let's go get this championship.